Hey there. You guys got the Monday scaries? Got to go to work again. You got to wake up. You got to get out of bed. Me too. That's why we're here to help you. Welcome back to another episode of Riding the Pine. Marv is dead again. I don't know how somebody could die, 2 times. He'll find a way to resurrect again, especially with that.
Have you ever seen South Park?
Well, yeah, but Marv is like a Kenny, but he's just more Marvish.
And he took the form of Nick Ahles tonight, our special.
Yeah, so this guy right here does need a little introduction. A man whose soul is just beaten and battered, and it might not be existing anymore. Nick Ahles, everybody.
Hey, man, we got the bye week this week. Jets fans got the bye week this week, so that's the closest we're getting to a dub this season. You know what I mean? So I'm actually on high spirits.
Yeah, I was going to say congrats on your win today because, we don't know if the Jets beat the bye week. We don't know.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
They didn't lose, so congrats on your not loss today.
There you go. That's more like it.
This right here is what Jason Powell's dreams of.
Yes, this is his dream team. And Jason Powell, professor at UC, he's the main Mohan alum. Share that bond. So Nick is one of our classmates from Utica College, where Shebel and I went to school. I don't know if we ever brought that up on here. The host of the 7th Inning Stretch, the greatest baseball show that you had ever heard in your life. He was the host.
Which faded away from a baseball show and just turned into us doing Bean Boozled live on the show.
That was the low point. That was the absolute low point of the show.
Just like us on there, though. When COVID hits and you got no actual baseball going on and the world is at a standstill, what can you do? What were you expected to talk about? There's nothing happening.
That was pre-COVID. That was November. We were just so out of ideas.
That was a year ago? I thought that was in the spring.
Yeah, no, that was a year ago, man.
Yeah.
Wow. And we've already been out of there for half a year. Crazy shit. Time flies. So yeah, Nick sent the invite out to Nick. He's here with us.
I'm here. I answered the call.
Without Marv, we still have a nice, sexy 3-way for you all on your Monday morning. It's not a 2-way like it was last Thursday. Marv dies. Hey, we replace him. We pull him back in. So whenever he resurrects again, maybe we'll get the 4 of us on here. Busy weekend in sports. Very busy weekend. He had college football on Saturday. He had the NFL today. You had the Masters going on. But before we get into the Masters, which concluded today, Sheebs, I know you got a little tidbit.
Yeah, a very delighting tidbit for the Lakers. They have agreed in principle, I might add, because they cannot officially trade until tomorrow. They agreed in principle to send Danny Green and a first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Dennis Schroeder. And I think that is a fantastic move by Rob Pelinka. Shout out Rob Pelinka. Should have been executive of the year. Yeah, they're making moves. They're rumored to be going after Wesley Matthews, which would make a nice addition there, the 2-guard. Danny Green played like poo the whole bubble. And, shout out Danny Green.
I was going to say, not very surprising to see Danny Green on his way out after his performances or lack thereof during that whole time in Orlando.
Shout out Danny Green, though. He was a part of that championship team, and he played well during the regular season before the bubble. Wish him the best of luck. Sadly, the Thunder aren't expected to keep him. They are already listening to offers. So who knows where he will end up. The 3-time NBA champion could be on the move again.
And the Thunder have like 50 first-round picks over the next 5-10 years, so I don't think they're worrying too much about it.
I think
move by them. You can probably look at it as a salary dump too. Yeah, and then AD just stopped it out. It's probably just a restructured deal. Rondo,
yeah, he's probably gonna sign the max deal that he can, because I don't see any possible scenario he goes to another team when he's just won a championship with LeBron James.
Well, yeah, those Lakers, fresh off of a title, they're getting busy already because the NBA season's already right around the corner.
The draft this Wednesday, I believe. So we will have a lot of draft news to talk about on Thursday's show. And Adam could be looking at the new future face of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, Devin Booker's his name. Don't wear it out.
I was gonna say no way. T-Wolves keep that pick, man. No way. I don't think it's gonna happen.
They probably are going to trade out of the 1 spot though. It'll probably be some dumb shit because Glenn Taylor's still the head honcho there.
They were rumored for LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Somebody was like, Jesus Christ, D'Angelo Russell cannot escape this family.
No, it just doesn't make sense to me putting LaMelo there. So that's basically all for the NBA right now. Like Sheeble said, next week there'll be some more. Lakers getting busy, looking to repeat their title next year. Guys, it took 7 months, but we finally got to enjoy the Masters. And no one enjoyed it more than Dustin Johnson taking home $2 million and setting records down in Augusta National. 20 under he finished the weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy. No one's ever done it.
No one's ever done it. Second place was Cameron Smith, the Australian, 15 under. I know that's a great weekend. But when you got a guy shooting 20 under, and Dustin Johnson was really days 2 and I think it was day 1 and 3 where he shot a 65. Days 1 and 3. That pretty much, especially that day 3 performance on Saturday, really separated him from Answer and Smith. So Dustin Johnson, 2-time major champion now.
Can you imagine like how frustrating it is to shoot 15 under and go for some of the best golf of your entire life and still get beat by 5 strokes? Like I can't even imagine.
It's a deflating feeling, but then you look, you're still taking home $1 million.
Hey, I'm not complaining about that part, but like you'll always be known as the guy who still finished 5 under.
Yes.
At least for now.
Yeah.
Poor Tiger Woods took a 10 on number 12.
Yeah, that was really bad. He hit it in the water 3 times.
It happened to anybody.
It can. He's one of us. He is one of us.
Hey, we are just like Tiger Woods, boys.
Yeah.
You hit the ball. Fuck. Sip your beer. All right. Drop.
I think
sip your beer.
He's won a couple tournaments though in his career, so I think
Tiger's done all right.
He's had a okay career.
He's okay. I mean, it's been a year since he won the Masters, so he is on a cold streak right now. Also, the Tiger is back meter, not all the way to the right, not all the way to the left. We're gonna go a little bit over the middle, more towards Tiger is back, but he's more is Tiger back in that range where you're asking yourself, is he back?
Does anyone know if Dustin Johnson's still with Wayne Gretzky's daughter?
I think he is. That came up in conversation this weekend at one of my buddy's houses.
That's crazy. Imagine just like you don't know who her father is. Like, I want you to meet my parents. You go to her house and it's just Wayne Gretzky.
These are weird wooden looking golf clubs.
They're shaped at a really awkward angle. You got a lot of putters, man.
Is this a putter? I've never seen a putter like this. Is this the new Titleist?
Dude, Mr. Gretzky's really into mini golf.
He made hockey look like mini golf sometimes. Yeah, well, moral is we had to wait 7 months for it, but the Masters came and the Masters went. Dustin Johnson, the champion of that. Right now, halftime of the Sunday night game, Baltimore and New England in a tight one. New England's actually up 13-10 right now. But the Thursday game is what we'll actually start with before getting into a wild day of football. We finished recording before the game ended. In Indianapolis ended up pulling away 34-17. Derrick Henry couldn't move the ball for shit against that Colts defense. Tannehill, I meant. Tannehill could not get anything going through the air. Xavier Rhodes is playing really well over there, Sheebs. I know how fondly you were of him last season.
And the season before, he played like shit too.
The Colts are legit. They have control over the AFC South now. They got the head-to-head. This game actually, and subsequently everything else today, actually Tennessee is now on the outside looking in of the playoffs. At 6-3.
Yeah.
I don't see that lasting very long. I see Derrick Henry bowling the Titans back into contention.
The Titans have so many problems, though.
I don't know, man.
Defense. Their pass rush isn't there. Third down defense is not great. They're giving up way too many first downs in third and medium situations. There's a lot to be concerned about with Tennessee. Just as the Colts, I mean, one week Colts looked like this, where they hammered down Tennessee. Next week, they're fighting for their lives.
Just a little pause on the football. Jim Boeheim tested positive for COVID-19 today, so wishing him a speedy recovery and hope he's doing well.
Yeah, and college basketball right around the corner too.
Syracuse has paused all activities.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting. I mean, you've already seen the Ivy League shut down all winter sports. A bunch of the MAC teams, I know Siena, I think Iona or Canisius, they suspended. They didn't cancel. They just suspended it for the time being. College basketball is going to be in a weird spot. I mean, college football, we saw it this weekend. A ton of games getting canceled and postponed and moved around. I mean, we didn't get Alabama LSU this year.
Yeah.
Shit sucks. This shit just sucks.
Keeps on taking.
That's how it goes. Hey, busy Sunday of football. That was a Thursday game. It's been a while. Just refresh on the score. The fucking Bills and Cardinals down in the desert may have so far played the game of the year. The Bills were up, I think, 23-13. Cardinals come storming back. They take a 26-23 lead after, while Josh Allen did Diggs under a minute left or right around there to take the lead 30-26. And then Kyler Murray. I've seen it done in that stadium before. My guy. Kyler Murray, 12 seconds left on the clock. Does a little rollout. Chucks it up. Fuck it. D-hop down there somewhere. 3 guys in his grill, and Hopkins comes down with it. Cardinals take the win.
Kyler Murray was obviously like that ball couldn't have been thrown into a more perfect spot for Hopkins to catch it. Obviously, like Hopkins catching it is just like mind blowing. It's ridiculous. I was watching on my phone at Lowe's and I like screamed. But Kyler Murray rolled out of the pocket and he gave the defender that little shake. Like I thought he was going to get tackled and he just slipped right away. Guy's legit. Kyler Murray is legit.
Yeah, who knew a mobile quarterback with solid arm strength would transition well into the NFL? I can't believe anyone ever doubted that. I just got to say that it's going to go down, at least in recent memory, definitely in recent memory, probably overall, that this D. Hopkins trade is going down as one of the most potent fleecings in the history of sports. How do you do that? How can you do that to your own team and just give, it's like a beautiful Christmas present, man. Like, how could you do that?
You know, and the nerds who hear that are gonna be like, well, it was salary dump for Houston. They needed more cap, and Arizona had the cap, but they had to get rid of their highest paid guy. Yeah, okay, that may be true. But you still go get a couple fucking first round picks for it. You don't just trade a running back who's on the decline and what was it, like a 4th round pick?
Yeah, I think it was 4th round.
Basically traded him away for a bag of chips.
Like, yeah, they're taking on
stale bag of chips.
But it doesn't excuse it. And it's also the point that Houston had no more early round picks to trade because Miami's got their 1st and 2nd this year, a 2nd next year for Kenny Stills and Tunsil. But no, D-Hop gets disrespected like that. That was an awful trade. What wasn't awful was how he caught that ball. Breaking it down, caught it right at the peak. He's got Trey White hand right about here, and D-Hop just...
Jordan Poyer came in like a hair too late, but
he did.
I got some shades of Calvin Johnson against the Bengals when he caught it in between, like, you know, like the whole roster.
Yeah, Texans fans having a very rough day. You're losing a pretty shitty game to Cleveland. You're reminded about how great D-Hop is.
He is the best receiver in the National Football League.
That's
my top 3. I was texting Zach Martin. Shout out Zach Martin, another Dolphins win. We'll get to that soon. But I was texting him, and I gave my top 3. And my top 3 was DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, and Devontae Adams. Those are my top 3. You probably could put Devontae in front of Julio. That's up for debate, but I think DeAndre Hopkins, as of right now, is the number 1 receiver.
Spectrum sucks. Sheaves lost you for a minute. Fuck Spectrum. On the real. Never will be a sponsor.
They're crooks.
Yeah, I know. They've been really begging to give you guys money.
I know.
Well, really turning them down. Stick to your guns.
I'm hoping for a beer sponsorship first. That would be very nice. Hey, Miller Lite, I love you. And probably the rest of you too, but don't tell Miller. Also, with the win, Arizona enters a very tight NFC West 3-way tie for first place. Seattle, LA, Arizona, all at 6-3. The Bills lost in the wake of the Miami win, which we'll touch upon a little bit down the road. That puts Miami a half game back of first place in the AFC East. And Nick, you know, you've been watching the AFC East. for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now, is it more weird to see the Patriots doing bad and out at the top, or to see Miami and Buffalo going neck and neck with good records for first place?
I'd say a little bit of both. It's not as weird to see the Patriots do bad because, we've seen them pretty much accept their tanking fate this year. And we all know the Bills were going to be a solid team. They've been on the up for the past few years. Josh Allen looking like an absolute stud. But the real X factor is Miami. I would be remiss to say I did not expect this at all from the Dolphins, especially Tua looking pretty solid over 3 starts. If the Dolphins walk away AFC East champs, I would have lost a lot of money. Let's just put it that way.
And interesting, if it stays this neck and neck race, because the Bills have a tough schedule coming up. Bills Miami week 17. That could very well be for the AFC East title, the divisional game, if you will. I know Packers Vikings. I've played them one, played Detroit in a couple of those. Those are fun games. And those are usually the games that get to go to Sunday night to keep that spot open.
Just think about what you just said, though. The Bills versus the Dolphins, possible Week 17 game for the AFC title. That's 2020 for you in a nutshell.
And I'm with you, Nick. Did not expect. Miami ended the last season very competitive. They were in games. They took down the Patriots late in the season on some Hail Mary crazy shit like Murray today. Actually, crazier than that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that just speaks to the job that Brian Flores is doing in that whole front office. This is a team that people thought next year was when they'd start knocking on the door of playoff contention, putting themselves in good position through 9 games with a 6-3 record. So that Bills loss, that hurts them a little bit. Hey, Buffalo, we still love you. No one circles the wagons like you guys. I can't do it today. It's not appropriate after a loss, but
you just get a very sad version of it.
Yes, nobody circles the wagons like the Bills, except for today, D-Hop and Kyler Murray.
I don't know, man. Angry Bills fans on Twitter is just one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah, Doug.
I love watching.
I was cracking some smiles at Doug today.
Yeah, dude. I was checking that feed.
Yeah. Hey, but from the real New York team to the fake New York team, these Giants, these pesky Giants over the past few weeks, just took down the Eagles for the first time since 2016. What? Yeah, 2016. 27-17 Giants win. Danny Jones, 244. He also led the Giants rushing yards. I think it was 9 for 64. Carson Wentz had a Carson Wentz day, barely touching 200 yards. Miles Sanders came back from injury, 85 yards. Don't look, man. Here's another one. The Giants are a half game out of winning the NFC East.
It's fucking stupid. It bothers me that they're 3-7. 3-7. And they're legitimately in contention to win their division.
Man, put some respect on it. That's a competitive 3-7. Okay.
I think Marv said last week he wouldn't be surprised if the winner of that division has like 5 or 6 wins.
Well, I mean, you're looking at it now. Philly's sitting at 3-5-1. The Giants 3-7. Washington's 2-7. Dallas is 2-7. Correct. So, well, you got to imagine Philly might end 6-9-1.
Nice.
If we're going to be generous, we'll give them 3 more wins. The Giants might take the division. But that's
how those teams does get in the playoffs and goes on some stupid run. Like they all just like
I was going to say that.
They all come together and believe in themselves like strong enough where they just can accomplish anything.
That's enough to win a wild card game.
It's highly unlikely, but yeah.
Well, Seattle did it.
Watch an NFC East team make it all the way to the Super Bowl this year based off of like what luck and believing in yourself and all of this like goody two shoes like sports movies for kids crap, and then they go and just get stomped, like completely stomped, like a 49-3 shellacking in a Super Bowl. That would just make my life.
The only team that would be is the Giants, because we know how Philadelphia, that's not the Philly way. The Philly way is not getting rah-rah. The Philly way is fuck you, scumbag. Let me punch you in the fucking grill. That's how the Eagles are going to make their run. The Giants are going to be like, Daniel, we believe in you. You can do it. No, Barkley, no problem. We'll block for you, Daniel.
Yeah. They just get
throw the ball like here.
If anybody's going to if they could squeak into the playoffs and go on a run, I think it could be the Giants because Daniel Jones looks like a baby Eli Manning.
He just looks like a baby.
So Eli Manning squeaked into the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. Twice.
That's when the Giants had good defenses. This Giants defense is not great, but hey, Bradbury, he's a diamond in a pile of shit. He's one of the top rated corners week in and week out.
Blake Martinez.
Yeah, his grade is always ruined because of his pass coverage. He's just a ball hawk. I loved him, but that's why one of my buddies texted me when the Giants signed him. He said, "What are we getting?" It's like he's going to be in on every play, but God, if you have a play over the middle, good luck. He just can't cover in the pass. But, that tie, I think, is really what's going to help Philly, even when losing this game. They split the season series with the Giants. That tie is going to be crucial going down, to get a division that's probably going to wrap up during week 17 for the wrong reasons. And then you look at the NFC West, that's going to be for the right reasons why that wraps up so late. That's a fun division. The NFC East is just sit back with your box of popcorn and see who wins the Pop Warner Super Bowl to go get demolished in the state tournament by all the real teams. That's basically what the NFC East is competing for now. It's like a mid-major school getting in the dance as a 16 seed.
It was really weird that they let an AAU team into the NFL playoffs, but it is.
Hey, it's 2020, man. It's fucking 2020.
Opportunities for everyone, and I'm okay with that.
So, as you guys know, can't drink. Goes against the surgery. But God damn it, on a day where I can't drink, the motherfucking Packers
give you a scare.
On the verge of cracking open every beer in that fridge and just saying, "Sorry, doc, move the surgery if you gotta, because I need to just get demolished." And just can't explain it. Inexcusable win. I don't mean to sound greedy because Nick, you haven't seen that in a while. But 24-20 over the Jags at home with this shitty weather.
I didn't see the game, but I heard Aaron Rodgers threw quite a very bad interception. That wasn't like Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, it was a little underthrown going to he was going to MVS on just a little dig over the middle, and it was underthrown. I mean, Devontae, he fumbled the football. The pass rush was basically non-existent up until the last two plays of the game. Couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run again. I mean, that comes to no surprise because that's the story of the season. The bright spot in this game was Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Showed he could put together back-to-back games finally. He had 75-yard touchdown reception. He finished the day, I think, 6 or 7 catches for 150 in the touchdown. So MVS had a good game.
4 catches for 149.
That's 149, sweet right there. So MVS, good game. I mean, Devontae with a beautiful touchdown.
Leading receiver for the Jags, DJ Chark, 4 catches, 56 yards. Nick Ailes' best friend.
Yeah, he is a good friend of mine. Very tight with DJ Chark. No, he had like non-COVID illnesses all week, so he didn't really get to practice much. He didn't look in sync that much. I will say, for as bad as the Jags have been this season, you got to put some respect on James Robinson's name. The dude has been an absolute steal as an undrafted free agent. Looked like a stud in both the run and the pass. And I'm looking forward to watching him play in that Jags uniform for a long time.
Doug Marrone had the right idea. Just hand the rock to him.
People were looking forward to watching Leonard Fournette there for a long time. So we'll see what happens. A lot of people, they look forward to having a lot of people for a long time. And it just
that's a very fair point. I should rephrase. I look forward to seeing James Robinson there for the next year confirmed. And then we'll go off it.
I went to the Jaguar Stadium for a Rolling Stones concert last summer of 2019. And there was a big old poster of Jalen Ramsey outside the stadium. And not long after that, Jalen Ramsey was gone.
Well, it's like the beginning of Moneyball where they're taking down the Johnny Damon, the Jason Giambi, the Mulder, the Keith Full. They're taking everything down. That's basically how Jacksonville operates in the NFL. The Packers were without the top corners today. No Jair, no Kevin King. So, guys like Chark and Cole, they had unexperienced guys on them. Josh Jackson, I mean, he's a good number 3. But again, the story of the day was Robinson for Jacksonville. Lutton didn't play a terrible game. He got picked off once, could have been twice. And then, like I said, the pass rush for the Packers was non-existent up until the last 2 plays of the game where Zadarius got a sack and Rashawn Gary got in there for a sack to force a turnover and down, take the win. Just like last week, I'm not going to apologize for winning a football game. I'm not going to apologize. 7-2. Right now, season ends, the 1 seed in the NFC. I'm not sorry for that. I'm just pissed that it was this close of a fucking game. And going into Indianapolis next week, there's a lot of shit to work on. Because if they play like this, the Colts will just fucking run them right out of the stadium. And it won't even be on the ground, I think. I think they'll just tap them through the air. Especially if Jair and Kevin can't get back. So a lot to work on this week, Packers. They do go to 7-2. A bounce back game, though, was the Tampa Bay Bucks. After putting up 3 points last week against the Saints, 46-piece the Panthers today. They basically hit the over on their own. It was a classic NFC South game. High scoring. Panthers, they were in there for a little bit until the last couple possessions. Bucks took over. So they go to 7-3. Carolina falls to 3-7.
Yeah, Ronald Jones had that 98-yard touchdown run. That was pretty nuts. Teddy Bridgewater hurt his knee. Hope he's all right. Walked off the field under his own power, so hope he's good. We know Teddy Bridgewater had that very gruesome knee injury a few years ago and a non-contact drill, which was even more devastating. So, wish him the best. Chris Godwin, pretty good day. 6 catches, 92 yards. Tom Brady, 341, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was facilitating the ball all over the place. It was a very balanced game for Tampa. Carolina, Davis in the backfield only ran for 32 yards. Wasn't a big day for him. Said they were hanging around for a while, though. And Tampa Bay just ended up taking off after the 1 touchdown to Gronk. That was kind of the nail in the coffin for Carolina. They got
I was going to say, even for like a CMC minus Panthers, 23 points against the top Bucks defense isn't necessarily nothing to sneeze at. So even without them, they're not even that bad of a team. So Carolina is in a really weird spot right now, but I'm looking forward to see what they can do in the future.
I agree. That offense, it's nothing to blink at. That offense will put up points on you. You got a first-year head coach coming from college, Matt Rule coming from Baylor.
Robbie Anderson.
The defense is not very good there.
Why would you say that name to me? Why would you do that? You hurt me so much.
Would he have mattered? Does that make a difference in your world? You just got to take the Jets and move them over here.
It's not that he would have mattered. It's that, like, I don't know. It's a toxic relationship, my fandom with the Jets. Okay, so you're taking away my drugs.
Again, if you just tuned into this point, this is Mike's soul is beaten and battered, and I just don't think he has one at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's still here and smiling. Just give us a smile.
Not for much longer.
I also forgot to bring up, there's really not much more of that Tampa game. Forgot to bring up, though, David Bakhtiari and the Packers just agreed on an extension to make him the highest paid offensive lineman in the history of the NFL. 4-year extension worth $103 million. He's basically getting 22 and change a year. So that makes D-Bach highest paid lineman in the history of the game. Very much deserving of it. And that was step number 1. Because without D-Bach, you could see when he was out those few games, you could see the difference he makes on that left side. So before the Packers did anything else, I know Aaron Jones is a free agent, Kevin King, you go down the line, had to get Bakhtiari inked up first. So good for him. He's celebrating with his fiance and a whole lot of beer, and more beer, in his words, not mine. This man that likes his beer.
Can't blame him for that.
No, can't. Just played in a windy, rainy day up in Lambeau. What do you want to do? You go home and celebrate your new contract with. He probably drink a keg to himself. Who am I kidding? That man's fucking 350 pounds, 6'5". There's one man that could drink me under the table. I say there's not many. I got a feeling he could. See his chugging video in Milwaukee with him and Rodgers going back and forth?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Bach puts him down. So speaking of a whole lot of ugly, that Cleveland-Houston game was ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Nick rub my chub fucked over a lot of fantasy owners and sports games by stepping out at the 1. But I'm sure he don't give a shit because the Browns walk away with a 10-7 win and windy.
Yeah. 10-7. Deshaun Watson threw the ball 30 times, and he threw for 163 yards.
Well, it took him until the fourth quarter with how much time left to score? Like 6 minutes left in the game. It took Houston to put up points. Browns defense is not one that you would expect to lock down a defense like that or an offense like that. They did. Credit to them. Brandon Cooks had like 37 yards. Will Fuller, I think, had like 36 yards. They contained the big guys very well. Nothing going on the ground for Houston. The Johnsons didn't, get much going. Cleveland 6-3, but again, they're on the outside looking in because of Miami, Vegas, and Baltimore.
Dude, Cleveland is such a wild card, man, and like not even like playoff wise, but like just in general, because like their good games are like Cleveland looks good when they string together some good games, but like their bad games, you're like, dude, college teams could beat you. So,
like when they're in the track meet with Dallas, and that was obviously Dallas still had Dak. They were still a competitive team. This was before his injury. They were in a track meet with Dallas, and you're like, oh shit, okay, the Browns are clicking. They found their identity. Now their last 2 weeks, I mean, they put up 9 against Vegas, 9 or 12 against Vegas last week, and then they put up 10 this week and a win though. Call it what you want, but Cleveland weather, because it was really bad last week, wasn't great this week.
And granted, you are missing OBJ, but I don't even think he'd be that much of a difference in a game like this. Like, how many more points are you going to score in horrible weather, even with OBJ?
Yeah.
It's another target, yeah, don't get me wrong. But you still got Landry, you still got Hooper. I think the Joker's healthy. Hunt and Chubb in the backfield. They have a rookie tight end, too, that I liked. I think he was the one out of Dayton. I'm blanking on his name, but they got 3 solid tight ends. Yeah. Donovan, all you Peoples-Jones from Michigan. Got some guys. So Cleveland 6-3.
I'm telling you, if they get on a run and get into these playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team.
Yeah. Well, then they don't have, the only thing is they don't have the experience, and that's what it might come down to. If you get in as a 7, as of now, they'd be playing KC in the first round, and if they bump up, they would get Buffalo. Those are tough games to go on the road in the playoffs, especially with KC allowing people and Buffalo not. Washington made one interesting today in the Motor City. Detroit pretty much had a handle on this game. Washington came clawing back, but Matt Never Say Never Prater, 55 yards, calls game Lions go to 4-5, and Washington falls in the abysmal NFC East 2-7. But Gibson, good game from him. McKissick in the backfield. Terry McLaurin had 90-something in the air. Another, I think, how much did he have on the ground, too? He had quite a bit of rushing yards on the dates, too.
Can we just talk about, too, how Alex Smith has thrown for 300 yards in the past 2 games and has lost both of those games?
Well, he threw the ball about 300 times today. So
55.
I was close. 55, 300.
Yeah, only a couple of numbers off.
It felt like it. That's an absurd amount of throws.
Got to give that guy credit, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see him back out there. Just crazy how they're having him throw the ball that many times, dropping back in the pocket, risking his body that many times. For what? I mean, you have Terry McLaurin, yeah. Beyond that, who's worth throwing it to another 54 times?
It's dangerous. I don't like watching them. I mean, normally I wouldn't like watching the Washington football team, but like now I really don't like watching them. Why would I want to watch this guy risk his life pretty much on every single drop back just for what? Let's say you win this game. What are you going to do? You're not going anywhere, man. Like, you're just making the team worse.
Hey, they're a game and a half out of first in the NFC, so they might as damn well go somewhere. They just might. Do not count out the Washington football team.
I don't know. I have no faith.
Detroit is not a rollover team. They're a good football team. They got their good spots. They got the receivers, Jones, Galladay. Hawkinson's a good tight end. They're not a football team that's going to make the playoffs. They're one of those 8, 9 place teams in the conference where this looks. If you're Washington, you can take something away from it. They went to their place. You crawled back. You were resilient. Matt Prater just got a boot. Matt Prater is one of the best in the business. Nothing to hang their hats on.
Washington's for the longest field goal.
Yeah, he is. That man's got a leg. Washington's building for something in the future, much how Miami was last year, where early on in the season you're getting steamrolled, and then you get a little competitive. If you like your head coach, you're going to fight for him. And from the looks of it and the sounds of it inside the locker room, Washington very much likes having Ron Rivera there. Formed a close bond with him, especially when he was going through treatment. Glad to see him doing okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So that does it for that game. Again, a game that doesn't make much of an impact. Detroit's sitting at 4-5 though. Couple more lucky wins. If they get on a little itty bitty baby run, they could be looking at a game out of a wild card spot. Put your name in the hat, But big news for the first time in history, they just keep improving on it. The Steelers 9-0, get Cincy at home, pummel them 36-10.
Yeah.
This is what good teams should be doing to teams like Cincy. Last week, Pittsburgh had a tough time with Dallas. A win's a win, yes. This is what great teams do. You don't just beat the teams you should be beating. It just shouldn't even be close, and that's what they did today.
Yeah, but great game for T. Higgins, 115 yards and a touchdown.
I had him and Deontay Johnson in DraftKings.
Really?
Few good pickups for me.
And then say what you want about the Bengals, but I think they found gold with this Burrow-Higgins connection. I can see them making moves for a long time. You got to surround them with the right talent, but I really like that.
Was also, bless you, damn.
Geez.
Want to get the offensive line. You got to improve the offensive line, or else Joe Burrow will not make it past year 3. You get the offensive line, I'm with you. You give Burrow more time to find Higgins. Who else do they have there?
AJ Green is still there.
Boyd looked pretty good.
They got AJ Green shambling corpse.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. He'll be out of there soon. Boyd looked good today. There are some bright spots in Cincy, but again, this is Pittsburgh and them are not on the same level. They're not even close to the same level, and this is what Pittsburgh had to do. Because I was still a doubter on Pittsburgh. I said to Dylan last week. So you guys might be 8-0, but you don't look like an 8-0 football team. Don't apologize for winning games. Good teams win games, but this is what the great teams do. When you get, again, example with the Packers today, they should have that game should have been over the first quarter. Let them hang around. So there's the difference right there. Pittsburgh doesn't let that happen. Team like Green Bay did. So 9-0 for the Steelers, and they pretty much, especially Baltimore's down by 10 right now. That'd put them to 6-4, I think, if they lose. Cleveland's 6-3. Pittsburgh's got a 3-game advantage with 7 games to go. They could wrap this thing up by week 15.
Oh, yeah, it's easily their division to lose. And especially on a 9-0 run, it's going to be hard to stop them, even though there's all the things, the naysayers about they had a pretty easy schedule. The games that were tough, they didn't win by much. I'm starting to become a Steelers believer. I think that they can make a really deep run, even Super Bowl contenders, especially I'm a huge Chase Claypool believer. Love Chase Claypool. So I think that, I don't know, calling it now, Chase Claypool makes the game-winning Super Bowl catch. There you go. That's my big prediction for you.
All right, guys, see you later.
I just leave.
Baby over. Hey, he had a couple tutties today.
He did?
Yeah.
Look good.
Can you imagine, though, that, yeah, they have a lot of talent on this team. Juju, Chase Claypool, Eric Ebron. They have James Conner. They have a very good, solid defense led by TJ Watt. But there was a time where they had Ben Roethlisberger with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. They didn't do nearly as good. They did well, but not 9-0 well.
Well, that's not every year you got teams going 9-0.
I also think there was a lot of personality clashes. You got big time dudes, Big Ben, Lev Bell. We all know everything about Antonio Brown at this point.
Le'Veon Bell wanted to be a rapper. Yeah.
But no matter what, Mike Tomlin kept that locker room together for the last 14 years.
Yeah.
Never had a losing season.
Juju got his bike stolen.
And he walked his way.
Yep.
And ran his way into the end zone.
He
had one today too, I think. If not, I was watching. I don't know.
Yeah, he got one. He threw the ball to his parents.
Yeah.
Look at that. What a nice gesture.
4 o'clock game. That was a lot for me to focus on. I was going back and forth on the ticket, then going to Spectrum and getting the Bills and Steelers game, going back to the ticket. I was running around at the 4 o'clock hour. 6 games, too much. Found that out today. I think a nice even split is 6 and 5. 5 games in the afternoon, everybody's happy. But it was in part because of the Masters. I digress. Hey, from the Steel City to the Sunshine State, where Miami and Tua Tagovailoa took on Air Bear Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Score doesn't dictate. I was watching this game more than any of the other 4 o'clock games. Score doesn't dictate. how handily Miami had them. It finished out 29-21, garbage time touchdown in the end for LA. Tua didn't do anything special. His numbers weren't off the charts. They're not going to wow you. But the way he commanded that offense and helped lead that rushing attack, his decisions to pull on the RPOs, Tua's 3-0 in his time taking over as a starter. 5 touchdowns, no picks. He looks very comfortable.
Now, I would argue that even right now, especially as a rookie, the comfort might be more impressive than overall production, because it's one thing if you end up throwing 9 touchdowns, but you don't really have a good control over the offense. But to look as comfortable as he looked, he looks like a natural leader for that Dolphins offense. And I think you're going to be seeing that guy, the Tagovailoa jersey under center for the Dolphins for a very long time. I think Miami is ready to embrace him, if they haven't already, as a QB1 for a decade plus, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 times here to stay. It ain't going to be a short stopwatch. That clock's going to be ticking for years. I'm with you, especially if you keep guys like Gesicki around. You got Parker around. You got a top 5 pick as of right now.
You got 2 really, really solid corners, and Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. Yep.
Yeah, he had a pick today off of Herbert, and he's playing a guy that he's going to be seeing for a long time in this conference. Granted, they both stay in the AFC. You'll be seeing Herbert a lot moving forward, and he's got the one up. But that Miami defense is something that isn't getting the recognition it should, because they're playing very good defense too.
Miami is just so good at finding not necessarily no names, but guys you wouldn't expect to be big time contributors and just turning them into solid parts of your entire team. They've been doing it for a long time.
Kyle Van Noy's there.
They were smart with it though, because Kyle Van Noy, I loved him in New England. I thought that was a big signing to bring him down to Miami. But a guy like Emmanuel Ogbah, who they have at the end, he was a former first rounder in Cleveland who couldn't find his way there. Goes down to Miami. He's making big plays all over the field today.
Bobby McCain's all right. You got some solid pieces on that defense.
They're another O lineman or two. Get the only problem with the running attack. Yeah, it was pretty nice, but interchanging way too much. You don't have just one guy that you could rely on and lean on, like the Vikings have Dalvin Cook. And then to get him his couple plays, okay, you'll put Madison in there, somebody that we know is going to be a good 2-down back. All right, thanks, keep it moving. Miami, they don't have that.
I think they need another legit receiver too.
They do, to match up with Parker would be very nice. But, they signed Howard in free agency, and Jordan Howard really hasn't done anything. He's not really even getting the games. Matt Breida's banged up. So they do have a couple guys right there that if they were healthy and actually living up to their contract, maybe so. But as of right now, Miami doesn't have that. But they do have a winning record, 6-3. And Nick, like you said, doesn't matter what his production is. They're winning. They're winning football games. They'd be winning, as my sister's boyfriend said to me. We'd be winning. That's what they're doing. Just like Cleveland. It doesn't matter. They're getting it done.
Usually in like I said, usually in football, if you score more points than the team you're playing, you win football games. And that's what they're doing.
You can't lose games in the NFL and expect to win.
Yeah, exactly.
And Miami's not doing that. They're winning
math,
games. That's it.
They end the game with the most points, and that means they win.
And subsequently,
that's a recipe for success.
It is. You just do that. Just score more points than the other team.
It's pretty simple when you think about it. Just be better.
Yeah, it's the longest
better
winning formula in the history of the league.
And I'll tell you this much for Miami too. Coming up, they have Denver. Then they have the Jets. Then they have the Bengals. Okay. They could be sitting at 9-3 heading into their game against the Chiefs.
Theoretically, they should be.
If the Dolphins are 9-3 going against the Chiefs, they should be. They should beat the Bengals. They should beat the Jets. They should beat the Broncos. They should. If
the Dolphins are 9-3 with that momentum going against the Chiefs, Andy Reid should be sweating.
And after the Chiefs, they get New England, Vegas, and Buffalo to end the year. This Dolphins team could finish at 10-6, 11-5. And really, really turn some heads.
And they could steal one of those games. You never know.
They could easily steal a win against a very competitive Jets team.
They'll shock the world.
It could happen.
Hey, speaking of world, man, we live in one where
Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco commanding.
Raiders.
Hey, say what you will. He looked pretty good for 3 quarters last week.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good.
And if that's what it took,
If it was hockey, he'd be great. If it was hockey, the game would be over.
Right. Exactly. Let's do that hockey.
I wish I miss hockey.
Let's switch to a hockey team. I'm a hockey team now.
Yeah, the Arizona Coyotes.
Yo, go Pack Go. Let's go.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. You got it right. You're welcome on here anytime. The 2 of the last 3 games we have here, 2 of them last season were up there for game of the year. Let's start with that New Orleans San Fran game last year. That game was crazy. Well, this is not last year, and the Niners are without half of that team from that game last year. Even the Saints don't look as form as they have before. They end up winning as they should against the Niners 27-13. I mean, no Kittle, no Jimmy G, Mostert. I mean, you know the drill with the Niners. The whole defensive line injured. You really do hate to see that in the most non-sarcastic way I could put it. You hate to see that.
They're really manged up.
It's just sad. Like, it's not even funny anymore to like pick on the Niners. Like, there's just nothing left.
They literally have they quite literally have nobody.
Yeah, and they're 4-6, and they would be first place in the NFC East.
Like when they played the Packers.
2020 is just so cruel.
When they played the Packers, there was that meme of Snoop Dogg. So whenever 49ers receiver catches a ball, it's him going, "Who?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically how it's going in San Fran. But New Orleans, they're going to be catching their breath tonight and eating their crawfish pretty slow and carefully because Drew Brees is going to get an MRI for his ribs. There was a Jameis Winston sighting to start the second half, and Drew Brees never came.
He ate a W.
He ate that W today. He did.
Again.
No. You know what's fucking crazy? Taysom Hill's making $16 million. Cam Newton, 1. Just want to put that out there too.
And all 3 of us are doing a podcast for free.
For free because
people are like,
we're not getting paid for this.
No, sadly not. You get compensated by exposure.
Just sign off. I sign off immediately.
Everybody's like, where? Cam Newton's getting paid only $1 million. Where?
Well, right now, Cam
Newton's people are struggling.
New England's up 23-10 right now. It's pretty.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, 23-10 New England. That's gonna shake up the AFC even more.
I should go get a colored wig and a clown nose right now for just thinking that the Ravens are gonna walk all over them and just be a lock to win.
Yeah, I think Belichick was gonna come up with something though. You know, I don't think Baltimore winning this game thinking they're gonna walk over them.
Still, no, Belichick. I did. I went into.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Well, there's a reason you're not an NFL coach, Shapes. Come on.
I think that's a reason. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons. I'm not a very good
thinker.
No, I would be very bad for morale in the locker room.
Like Adam Gase.
If any way that I play Madden.
Hey, that's NFL head coach Adam Gase. If he can make it there, I can make it there. Come on.
Adam Gase. Like, you mean this Adam Gase?
The smelling salts, Adam Gase. That's my favorite.
No,
that was the highlight of his entire tenure.
That was great.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
If the way I play Madden would be any depiction of me as a coach, I'd be very bad for morale in the locker room because I would single out players and yell at them, hey, what the fuck was that on that last possession? Are you fucking stupid? I'd be embarrassing people in front of the whole team. Morale would just be in the toilet. Like, when
that's what we look for in a coach. Just all that confidence that you have in yourself. That's why I get hired.
I was gonna say this is a really strange application for the Jets head coaching job, but you do you, buddy.
Yeah, just be the worst person possible, and when any situation arises, you are Michael Scott running out of the building before anybody else, and that's how you become the New York Jets head coach. So get those applications ready because there's gonna be a pretty long line for it.
No, there won't. There won't.
I'll apply to be the Houston Texans general manager because apparently they just decide like, oh yeah, I think making Bill O'Brien the head coach and the GM is a great idea, and then let's just fire him.
And
I just thought he was just doing an exceptional job in Houston. Like, there was no reason for him to be fired. I don't really see why they got rid of him. You know, they started the season hotter than any team in the league. You know,
Houston?
They made a great trade for to get DeAndre Hopkins out of there.
Oh, fuck you, motherfucker! I was about to jump through my laptop and just I was gonna strangle you.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was really a strain on the Texans offense. I'm glad that we got him out of there, boys.
He said they started the season hot. And I'm like, which team are we talking about here? Who started hot? I know the Steelers did. I don't remember the Texans starting hot.
The Texans have been
the weather was
cold,
hot.
Very, very cold to basically start the season and continue the season. Midway through, they are cold.
Hey, never say never. Could happen.
A hot win for the Saints today, but at what cost? Especially if Drew Brees is gone for a while.
Hey,
it's James time.
They're not going to apologize.
No, they're not. But at what cost? You won the game, but at what cost, Sheebs?
They're probably saying, who dat, every time a fucking 49ers receiver caught the ball.
Hopefully Drew's all right. If not, that'll also make things interesting. Tampa's definitely going to jump up to be the favorites to win that division. They're a half game behind. New Orleans is 7-2. Tampa 7-3 after today. The other game from last year that was up there for game of the year, I think it was actually a Thursday night when they met. The Rams Seahawks. You know, obviously they play twice a year, but there was the one primetime game last year that was down to the wire, overtime, missed field goals, the whole 9 yards. I was really drunk, so I don't remember who pulled away with it. I remember the game. It might have been Seattle. I want to say Myers hit the game-winning kick because Zerline missed one earlier. Wasn't the problem today because the Rams had this one under wraps from the start. They did win 23-16, but again, another score where Seattle really wasn't in this game. Russell Wilson,
3 turnovers.
Today. Not a good game by him.
2 interceptions. Big goose egg in the touchdown column.
Now, Russ is a top tier quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but when you're talking about an MVP, you're not basing off of his career, you're basing off this season.
Yep.
Russ has had a good season, but the past few games have shown you that he is not the MVP of football, and that hype train, it's gotta take it from here. And now bring it back.
He started out really hot.
I was a believer those first few games, but now it's just like
he deserved it, deservingly so though.
Shaky against the Bills, now very shaky against the Rams.
It's a week by week discussion with MVP. You know, Josh Allen didn't look amazing today, but he did good enough where you could start throwing his name into the hat a little bit more. Rodgers did not have his best game. He got picked off once, but his numbers are still better than Russ. So if you're looking at MVP, Russ to me is down to number 4 right now. And we'll get to our midseason awards actually at the end of the show.
It's like you said, Adam. It's a week by week basis. Who knows? Maybe he comes out and throws like 455 TDs next week.
He's got 7 games left.
It can happen.
Over those 7 games, he can go 25-1, just like Mahomes has started the year. He could theoretically, but with that division, it's gonna be fucking tough. Again, with this loss, they now go down to 6-3. The Rams improved to 6-3. Cardinals will win.
The Seahawks' remaining games, I'm not going to lie to you, are fairly easy, except next week.
Well, they got the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. Philly, they should handle. The Giants, they should handle. The Jets, they should handle. Washington. Then they end with the Rams and the Niners.
And who knows what the Niners will look like by then, because at that point, I don't know, the way things are looking, they might just be like, yeah, we're not going to put all these guys back in if they're healthy again.
And at the same time, too, it depends on the other 2 teams that they're battling with in that division. All 3 teams, again, just like the NFC East for the wrong reason in the AFC East, the NFC West could go into Week 17. It could.
The thing about the NFL too is there's teams that are 6-3 right now, 7-2, whatever they are. You could see a team just crumble and just absolutely just turn into shambles by week 14. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen. Some teams look good now, and then just all of a sudden a bunch of stuff happens. Drama. Just
injuries happen. COVID is now happening. You don't know what's going to come about. You're right. I mean, it's happened time after time again where teams crumble. The Giants did it the year that we won the Super Bowl. The only reason the Packers got in is because the Giants crumbled their way out of the playoffs, gave us the 6th seed. Rest is history. Happens every year. Almost happened last year. Steelers almost swept a spot.
That year, the Bills played the Jags in the playoffs. The Bills shouldn't have made the playoffs.
Baltimore lost week 17
because
of Andy Dalton. Bills win. It happens all the time. And with the NFC West, chances are those 3 teams will all be a playoff team, but it comes down to who's getting that home game and who's going to be fighting for the bye, which right now the Packers have a 7-2. So the 1 seed is very much up in the air. Same thing with the AFC. I mean, the Chiefs are only 8-1. They're only 1 game behind Pittsburgh, and they play this season. So it'll be your head-to-head. The last game we got in the 4 o'clock slate, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I'll tell you what, man. It's a great win today. Great team win. I'll tell you what, Josh Jacobs, man. 112 yards, 2 on the ground, getting it in the end zone. Of course, I don't even have to say it. Darren Waller, our leading receiver, man. National Tight Ends Day every day here in Vegas. Put your bets on that.
And I think it's very fair to say Drew Lock, not elite. They're not this weekend.
Thanks. I don't know. John Elway must have been on some sort of drug when he said that he sees a lot of Drew Lock, or a lot of himself in Drew Lock.
He finished with 4. I thought he had 3 picks. He finished with 4 picks. Okay, well, Drew Lock, not elite. I'm going to remove the not this week tag and just say Drew Lock, not elite. Not elite.
That's really rude. I bet he's listening.
Another week of me just saying how fucking bad Melvin Gordon is. Stupid.
Didn't have an awful day today. He's getting 4.5 a touch. And when you're playing from behind the whole game, he's not going to get a lot more touches.
But I just think it's like he should be like based on like the money he wanted and how he cried and sat out for the Chargers and stuff. Like he should be playing like at a very high level.
Should be, yeah.
Right? Theoretically, like you get the contract, you should live up to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but then he had the legal trouble, a little Dewey action over on the side. I don't think anything's come about that. Got banged up. He's really not having a terrible season, but
he's not like god awful, but like where I think he should be.
Yeah, he's not playing for
based on everything that's happened.
It's also a big difference moving from the Chargers to the Broncos. Like it's a tough comparison.
I mean, it's total. I mean, quite literally, the air is different in Denver. I mean, the altitude. I mean, it happens. That's why all the longest kicks in history from Denver. We all know the altitude deal there.
I mean, geez, CJ Anderson did all right in Denver.
Well, that Tim Tebow did all right for a year. What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Tim Tebow wasn't a running back.
Hey, that's New York Mets superstar Tim Tebow. Put some respect on.
Oh, yeah, he is. And Russell Wilson is New York Yankees superstar.
Hey, 1AB. That's all it takes.
Hey, so Vegas, baby. 6-3. Right now in a playoff spot. I think they are the last team in. I think they're 7th in the AFC after all the tiebreakers. Baltimore 5, Miami 6, Vegas 7. And then Cleveland and Tennessee are tied outside looking in the AFC. That's going to be a fun race heading down the road. Love it. I mean, we're turning a corner, boys. Week 10 is come and gone. We got 7 weeks left of regular season football. Shit just fly by. But tonight's game, the week is still here. We got tonight and tomorrow. I am a little shocked. I thought New England would keep it close, competitive. Didn't think they'd be up 23-10 though.
Baltimore's knocking on the door.
Yeah, they are. I got on right here. And I mean, for tomorrow's game, we already talked about it on Friday morning, Thursday night. Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota's playing really fucking hot right now, and Chicago is not. They've lost 3 in a row. Minnesota's won 3 in a row, I believe.
They've won 2 in a row. Going for 3 in a row.
For tomorrow. I don't think Dalvin Cook's going to be able to run the ball very well. I think this game is going to come down to Kirk Cousins. It's going to be a Jefferson Thielen show.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a big game for Thielen. He hasn't done a lot in the past few weeks. He's been quiet.
This is his chance.
They go into Jefferson a lot. And I think he's going to have a huge game.
The Bears, The Bears' run defense, stout. I mean, even look at what happened with Derrick Henry. He had a tough time with it. Said hammer the under for him. Dalvin Cook.
My prediction was he's still going to have 100 yards, and I hope.
Well, yeah. If you hand the ball off to him 25 times, I would hope he's going to get you 100 yards. You know.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna have 100 yards on 10 carries though.
Just an update. Baltimore scored.
Yeah, third quarter is winding down.
Willie Snead.
2 for him. That's 2 for Willie Snead.
Yep.
I always feel like these teams are the type where these guys just come out of the woodworks. Willie Snead's name, he hasn't been used in Baltimore like he ever was in New Orleans. Now here he is on Sunday Night Football getting 2 touchdowns. I don't get it. It's like they purposely do this.
Prime time lights, man.
Either way, though, the Vikings are one of my picks tomorrow.
I think they win. And that's not because I'm wearing a Viking sweatshirt. I just think Chicago is like the imposter in Among Us. I'll say that every week.
Yeah. It depends on what Nick Foles shows.
Solid reference.
Let's be real. The Viking secondary is not very good. Their corners, there's a lot of injuries there too. Young guys.
Cameron Dantzler has been downgraded to out.
So it's going to be a big game for Allen Robinson, I think, but it all depends on which Nick Foles shows up.
I think it's good. This is going to be a big learning experience for Jeff Gladney, their first-round pick, having the guard Allen Robinson, cover Allen Robinson, I should say. But
Miller on the other side.
Better hope those safeties come to play. And I think that is the best safety duo in the league.
I think so. You're going to be asking for a lot of Harrison Smith, I feel like.
Yeah.
Especially against
up to beat.
Well, David Montgomery's also out. Tariq Cohen is still out for the Bears. I don't know who the hell they're going to roll with that running back.
This young defensive line has to get to Nick Foles. DJ Wanham has played well in the past couple weeks. He got to Rodgers for a sack. They played the Packers a couple weeks ago. These guys are improving.
I just think it's going to be a very pass-heavy game for both teams, only because the Bears, they're not going to have much. Like, their top 2 backs are out, and the Vikings have a weak secondary. The Vikings are going to find running the ball is going to be very hard against them.
It just depends what Kirk Cousins we get. Kirk Cousins has 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions on the season. Last year, he had like 29 and 6 for the whole year. So we'll see.
Those numbers again? 15 and 10.
Not good.
Right? How much did you pay him?
Too much.
Too much.
It's the biggest bunch of bullshit ever. Like, I don't know. Rick Spielman, I think, has made a lot of impressive moves with that team. Like, think about the people they've drafted. Like, Daniel Hunter was a 3rd-round pick. Stephon Diggs, 5th-round pick. You know, I could just keep naming people. But to sign a guy for that much guaranteed money and just that much money alone when he hasn't, like, actually proven himself is just bonkers.
Coworker of mine's a Washington fan. He said, he's just saying, thought it was a mistake when Minnesota gave him all that money. He's like, I didn't mind Kirk Cousins, but he ain't worth all that.
No. And
right.
Think about the quarterbacks that have come up in the draft these past couple years, these past 2 years since we've had him. Think about who's come up in the draft.
It could have been like the Bears and just completely blow it every fucking time. Could have got Watson and Mahomes.
I mean, we fumbled it in 2011, like completely. Christian Ponder. Really?
Christian Ponder. I mean, that's neither here nor there. That's 9 years ago. Well, I'll give you a break on that one. So tomorrow, expect a bruising game in the NFC North. Again, I think very pass heavy. It's gonna be tough to run the ball for either team. I like the Vikings by a few. And like you said, the Bears they're an imposter. I think where the Bears are now, the Vikings should be. If they got off to a better start, they should be the 5-4 team.
Yeah.
And if the Bears didn't get a couple lucky wins early in the season, they'd be the 4-5 team heading into this one. Or the 3-5 team. So, in the spirit of giving, it's almost there, the season of giving. Let's give out some awards, boys. Let's give out some mid-season NFL awards. Let's just go right down. Sheeble, go right down your line. Who do you got? We're going to give out MVP.
Do you want me to tell you my reasoning?
Yeah, just give a quick little, we got
quick
MVP.
Little tidbit. All right. So my MVP, Patrick Mahomes. 25 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season. I was thinking Russ, but after today, but the reason I was thinking Russ was because of how poor that Seattle defense is, especially from what we're accustomed to seeing in Seattle. But Patrick Mahomes has been doing Patrick Mahomes things. You know, he's just coming off a Super Bowl win, Super Bowl MVP. He already has an MVP award. So I think Patrick Mahomes right now is looking just extremely solid. Offensive Player of the Year was a tough choice, but I had to go with my guy Dalvin Cook, leading the league in rushing, basically putting the Vikings on his back. You could make the case for Alvin Kamara, but for me, it's Dalvin Cook. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald, I think, should get that. He is tied for the league lead in sacks, and I think he has the most pressures out of anybody in the league. Offensive Rookie of the Year, even though his team has not been winning, Justin Herbert has been very solid, and he's looked pretty good in virtually every game he's played so far. Defensive Rookie of the Year is tough because there's not a defensive rookie that's oh my God, this guy is crazy. But I got to go with Chase Young. He's been battling some injuries, but he leads all rookies in sacks, and I think he's could have a lot better of a second half of the season. Coach of the Year, Brian Flores. For me, I know a lot of people say Mike Tomlin, but I just think it's crazy how Miami rallied around him in the second half of last year, and now look what they're doing this year. He made that decision to take out Ryan Fitzpatrick and start Tua, and it's paid off very well so far as he's 3-0 as a starter. And comeback player of the year, you could pick Teddy Bridgewater. You could pick Ben Roethlisberger, but Alex Smith, man, that guy could have lost his leg, and he is dropping back and throwing the ball 55 times today. That's crazy. Even if they don't win very many games, it's crazy that he's even starting, even active on the roster at this point after 17 leg surgeries. So yeah, I think Alex Smith is that's the only one for me, the only award that's an absolute no-brainer. Yeah, this guy deserves it 100%.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm looking at Marv's. I'm going to get to them. I want to hear what St. Nicholas has to hand out first to all the little boys and girls.
Ooh, didn't like that at the very end. For MVP, I picked Josh Allen for the Bills. Just because, you traded for Diggs in the offseason, but he doesn't really have any true standout weapons in my perspective. You got John Brown, Cole Beasley, got some solid pieces, but no one really stands out besides Diggs, and yet he's been having phenomenal years. Still got a little bit of issues to work around, but I think this is an absolute breakout year in terms of a most valuable player. I would assume it would be Allen for his team. For Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going with you, Sheebs, Dalvin Cook, just for pretty much the same reasons that you said. Put the team on his back. He's been in the league rushing, just an absolute stud. Smash pick for me. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald, pretty much the same reasons that you said, but an absolute beast on that Rams line. He's won 3 Defensive Player of the Years already. I'm seeing that he's going to get a 4th one this year. One of the best defenders in the game of football that I've seen in my entire life. Offensive Rookie of the Year, it was really a toss-up between Herbert and James Robinson for me, but I'm going to go with James Robinson just because, Herbert has looked really good, but in terms of being the better player for their team, I would argue Robinson just because of he's been efficient in the running game, efficient in the passing game. He's been efficient on all sorts of first down, second down, third down, even fourth down runs and conversions. I think that he's been a better asset to his team than Herbert has, and really the only bright spot for the Jaguars this season. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I went with Patrick Queen on the Ravens just because of pure effectiveness that he's been for that team.
That's a good pick.
I agree with you, Sheaves, that there hasn't been really any standout rookies this year for defense, but just in terms of like a solid guy, doesn't really make a lot of noise, but always there, always a threat. Patrick Queen, Coach of the Year. I went with Cliff Kingsbury, just because he inherited a team last year, went like what 5-10-1 or something like that. And now he's turned around. Yeah, you got a great piece in DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, you're seeing Kyler Murray blossom, but the chemistry he's built with that team, the way he's meshed it together, the results that we're seeing, is sort of invigorative offense that we've seen. I think that he's been able to turn this team around. I think they've got a really bright future. So I would go Cliff Kingsbury and comeback play of the year. I don't see how you could not pick Alex Smith, to be honest. I agree with you, Sheaves. But to piggyback off what you said he almost lost his leg. He almost lost his life.
Yeah, that's true.
He almost lost his life. And for him to be even a football player in any sense, let alone a starting quarterback in the National Football League, is nothing short of miraculous. So I don't see how you could pick anyone else besides Alex Smith, really.
Well, I'll twist your little nipples there, Nick, because I got a shocker for you. It was Marv's dying wish for me to deliver his award winners before he hit the grave yet again. And he'll be here to defend himself on Thursday once I give him shit for this list. But I'll spoil it right now. His comeback player of the year is Big Ben. He's rolling with his guy.
I've never met him, but he's an idiot.
And I see what he's coming from, but these picks are not mine. I do not. I'm just reading. It's
you do not own them.
So his MVP is Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year, Devontae Adams. His Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Joe Burrow. Defensive is Young. Coach of the Year is Mike Tomlin, which Tomlin's not a wrong pick. I like what you said about Flores. I like what you said about Cliff. I mean, and Robinson. Like, I really like you bringing up Robinson like that. He's not one that I think just because the Jags are 1-8 now, I don't think he's going to get considered. But that doesn't make sense for somebody like Herbert, whose team is 2-7. Burrow's team is 2-6-1. And the only reason Tua's name is not getting thrown in there, he's only played 3 games. It's not really fair to throw him in there yet. But over these next 9 games, Tua might take over for Offensive Rookie of the Year by the end of Week 17. My MVP, I'm also going with Patty Mahomes. Probably thought I was going to say Rodgers, didn't you? No. Patrick Mahomes, you can't knock it. He's got the best numbers amongst quarterbacks right now, 25-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Yeah, you bring up the names like Ross could be thrown in there. You bring up Allen. And to me, Rodgers is number 2 because without Aaron Rodgers, what are the Packers? Not much. No to Tim Boyle, but what Aaron Rodgers does on a football field, his presence on the offense, just being there for 15 years, that's the guy. He's having another great season. His numbers right now, when you compare them to his other 2 MVP seasons in 2011 and 2014, basically spot on. And if it wasn't for Pat Mahomes, I think Aaron would be the guy being talked about. But it's Mahomes for a good reason. I think he's the MVP of football right now. My Offensive Player of the Year, surprisingly, I considered Dalvin Cook. I really did. But I have to go with Devontae Adams. Because, again, without him, the Packers' offense doesn't move either. They won those games that he missed, but it's so hard to get anything going. To facilitate the ball, you're relying on everybody. Allen Lazard did a good job stepping up in those games, yeah, sure. But look at the presence that Devontae brings. Even if he's not doing anything in that game, he's a distraction. You're still going to have 2 guys looking at him. He's got a touchdown every single game since he's been back. He missed – let that sink in. He leads the NFL in touchdown receptions with 9, and he missed 4 games. Okay. When he's out there, you can't stop Devontae. He had 3 the other week against Minnesota. He had 1 against San Fran, had 1 today. Also had almost 200 yards against the Niners. Devontae is my Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, no surprise, Aaron Donald. Just the best defensive player in football right now. I don't think anything else needs to be said there. My Offensive Rookie of the Year right now is Justin Herbert. It's very hard to get thrown into the situation that he got thrown into. And right from the start with that Kansas City game, you saw somebody that wasn't timid. He didn't look scared. He was thrown into a shitty situation as a whole, just the way the Chargers are right now. They're also a very banged-up team. You got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but not a very good offensive line that protects them. Now, they're playing very good opponents. and he still looks pretty damn good. Had a rough one today against Miami, but just as a whole, I think he's been doing better than Burrows. I hear you on Robinson, I really do. And Tua hasn't played enough yet to throw his name in there. So right now I got to go with Herbert. Defensive Player of the Year, somebody that you guys didn't mention, Winfield Jr., the safety up in down in Tampa Bay. Having a very good season. I think he's leading rookies or at least secondary in tackles. He's up there.
His dad was a hell of a corner for the Vikings.
Yeah, and he's playing just like Pops, if not a little bit better.
Yeah.
I split it. I also have Patrick Queen on there just because, like what you said, Patrick Queen is one hell of a linebacker, and I think the older he gets, the scarier he's going to become. Ray Lewis-esque. Not saying he's Ray, but gets Ray on the phone.
Man, Ray Lewis-esque is a hell of a compliment.
Yeah,
might take some lessons from him. I loved Queen at LSU. I wanted him so bad, but no, let's go get Jordan Love, even though we need help against the run. Winfield Jr., Patrick Queen, I think are going neck and neck right now for Defensive Player of the Year. I mentioned, my comeback player of the year is Alex Smith. How can it not be? Fuck Dylan. My coach of the year, again, same thing as defensive rookie of the year. It's neck and neck between Brian Flores because the makeup of his team is not that of the Steelers, with who I'm debating with, and Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has the better team. He hasn't been playing the same sort of opponents Miami has. Yeah, I'm saying Pittsburgh's schedule has been pretty easy. You can only play the teams that are put on your schedule, yes. But I'm more impressed with what Flores has done with Miami than what Tomlin has done with Pittsburgh. I think a lot of people could coach Pittsburgh right now to an 8-1, 9-0 record. I don't know if you could throw any other coach in Miami and have them be 6-3 right now.
Yeah.
That's how I look at the coach of the year. And I would give the nod more so to Flores than I would over Tomlin right now. So we'll see how that changes over the next 7 weeks. We're just over the halfway point in the NFL season. All this shit could change. Like you said, Nick, Russ could go throw for 50 fucking touchdowns over his next 7 games and just completely give us no choice but to say Russell Wilson's the MVP of football. So yeah.
I also would like to throw another Justin into the name for Offensive Rookie of the Year considerations, because I don't know how the next 7 weeks play out, like you said, but Justin Jefferson has been a stud for the Vikings this year. He looks like a natural. He looks very, very comfortable in that offense.
He's looked good, but he's a victim of bad quarterback play.
Yeah.
Like, you can only do so much when you can't get the ball reliably thrown to you.
And imagine CeeDee
Lamb. He's had 2 games of over 150 yards already. He has like 600 something yards on the season. He's projected 1,000 yards in his first year.
Yeah, I'm not knocking him. He's an absolute stud. But I'm
and the
just
thing
saying
is,
he can only
the
go
thing
so
is
far.
too with the Vikings, like, people like want to throw all the blame on Kirk Cousins. Like, yeah, like he definitely fucks up a lot, makes some mistakes, but that offensive line is so bad in pass protection. They are atrocious. They are great run blockers, phenomenal run blockers, but they can't pass protect for shit. And that guy doesn't have time half the time to throw the ball and go through his progressions because he's just on his ass.
And we can make the same case for CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler as we do for Jefferson, where if they had a competent quarterback that can consistently get them the ball and not throw 3-4 picks a game, their names would be in there too. And again, that's no fault to CeeDee because his guy's out. Drew Lock sucks. Derek Carr.
Yeah. And just think about the fact too that we have Adam Thielen on our team, who's been absolutely phenomenal the past 2-3 seasons. And Justin Jefferson's our leading receiver with 627 yards so far on the season.
Yeah, Jefferson, and another name that you could throw in there is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
He's cooled off the past couple weeks, but he should still get some respect.
He's been very solid for the Chiefs.
So, Jefferson can prove his case a little bit more tomorrow for Sheeble's case. That about does it. Nick, how'd you enjoy your time on the Pine?
Hey, man, I loved it. Thanks, guys, for having me. I feel so special.
You are special. You're very special. That's why we brought you on today. Make you feel good. Make you happy. You haven't smiled in a long time. I know it.
At least for sports. Oh, my God, dude, it's been brutal.
So, Nick's going to be around. Nick will be here. We like having Nick here. Marv, he'll be back from the dead hopefully come Thursday. I might still be on Jupiter's rings or Saturn's ring, whatever the hell it is. I don't know what kind of state I'll be in, but I'm gonna be here either way. That should be fun. Whether the hospital still got me drugged up or what, I don't know, but I'm still gonna do it.
And I'll be here of sound mind.
Yeah, they'll babysit.
Yeah, there you go.
They'll keep me under control. And as always, you listen to us if you like it. Be our friend. Tell your friends. Spread the word. Hey, let's listen to this podcast. It was pretty good. It was all right. These guys, I like hearing them talk the sports stuff. They sound like some intelligent guys. If you didn't like it, wipe it from your brain. It never happened. You didn't listen to us. No hard feelings. But just don't shit on us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We got 2 episodes a week, Monday mornings, Friday mornings. You know how it goes. For Nick Ahles, for Sheebs, I am Adam. See you Friday.